I'd like to try and encourage people to not see online as the entire or overall. I think some people are kind of getting to that stage where social media usage is changing really quickly to the point where we're not sure what it will look like next. But I think there are reasons why it's shifting.
Welcome to Platform Z, or Z, whichever you prefer. Join me, Noah Lennon, as I speak with my generation about a range of topics and themes in the present day. Greetings, humans of the world. Thank you for tuning in to the 8th episode of the podcast. Today I'm speaking with a fearless, forward-thinking, award-winning creative. With his foot in the acting world, the music world, the fashion world, and more, the future is as exciting as it is unpredictable for him. This year, he completed a Bachelor of Arts degree in Education, Policy and International Development from the University of Cambridge and was also accepted into the National Youth Theatre. You may also know him as Mr. She Really Is Beautiful, Innit? From the viral 2020 video with Meghan Markle. He's been a good friend of mine for a number of years now and is an extremely talented, hardworking and magnetic soul. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the one and only Aker Okoye.
Thank you so much for the intro, man. It was different when it's read aloud. Appreciate it.
Of course, man. Thank you for coming on. Thank you for your time. So, as you may have seen from the title, today's episode is on digital consumption. That includes everything that we watch, listen to, read, or engage with digitally. I acknowledge that this is quite a broad spectrum, so please forgive us if we do not cover everything that there is to cover. There will most likely be a part 2 and potentially a part 3 in the future. We'll see. But to start things off, let's discuss our own digital consumption habits. Aker, would you like to begin?
Happy to. So in regards to my personal digital consumption habits, I spend most of the time between Instagram, WhatsApp. I'm not sure if email is included as social media, but for the sake of argument, let's not. I'd say YouTube thereafter. I use social media to be as social as possible, so I don't really doom scroll unless I can find something that I want to send to somebody else, but rarely the case.
Yeah. I think for me, it's difficult. Because if you'd asked me this at the beginning of the year, I would say probably Instagram. But now I'm really trying to limit myself. And even if I'm just on my homepage, I'll still see suggested reels and multiple videos coming up from things that I'm not actually interested in. I can't conform to the algorithm. It's a very dangerous space in terms of losing time and attention. Attention is really the new currency, and that's what I'm learning and trying to navigate.
There's definitely a challenging spot we are in at the moment. I'd like to try and encourage people to not see online as the entire or overall. I think some people are kind of getting to that stage where social media usage is changing really quickly to the point where we're not sure what it will look like next, but I think there are reasons why it's shifting, even just statistically. Social media usage peaked in and around 2022 and has been on a steady decline ever since. According to the GWI data that Financial Times has used, the Global Web Index, sorry. So that's what GWI stands for. But that being the case, I think it was quite an interesting talking point because I expected everything else to be quite positive in its correlation and just expect a steady climb up, especially with Generation Alpha and the rise of AI content. I thought, if anything, different brands with their marketing departments will use the cookies and different data they have on their consumers to personalize every sort of notification that comes through on your phone. Who knows what will happen? I'm not too sure, but I think that was quite an interesting point that I didn't expect to find out.
This is a self-promotional break.
Ah, yes, the self-promotional break. Classic Noah, am I right? Well, what did Tyler, the Creator, say, huh? Sorry, not sorry. I think he said that in the song. Anyway, as you may know, I'm currently raising money for War Child UK as part of the Rising competition with Hotbox. And today, Monday the 20th of October, it just happens to be the day of my broadcast performance at 7:30 p.m, which you can tune into live via the link in the description. It would mean the world to me if you'd donate to the cause, but more importantly, it would mean the world to millions of children across the globe living in deplorable conditions, desperate for help. With your support, we can really make a difference. Thank you.
There seems to be a growing understanding around what we consume. Of course, you have active consumption, where you're actively consuming something like the internet, or consuming television, or consuming film digitally, social media, with an intention to do something. Like there's an intention to text someone, there's an intention to find something out as part of research or for sending an email. But then it's the passive consumption where it's like you're sitting at a bus stop and you're just scrolling mindlessly, waiting for the bus, but you're not consciously thinking. In that sense, it's causing a lot of negative cons to the brain and to your mental health, to the way you think, to emotionality, signaling in the brain.
When it comes to how people use social media, I think there's a general rise in things such as personal branding. I think active social media usage is on the rise and maybe passive is on the way down, but it does depend on where you're looking at. North America, it's still on the rise. If you look at why people use social media or what they use it for, it's still to follow celebrities and keep up with the latest trends, whereas around the world, the focus is more social than it is media, whereas in North America, it's more media than it is social. And I think it's just an interesting part of the world to even examine if we're looking at what digital media consumption looks like. And when we speak about digital media consumption, who are we talking about and why? I think it's very, very interesting. But again, these are all tools at the end of the day. It's definitely quite something. It's definitely quite something to think about, even across genders or age groups as well. And will there be a time where social media won't have the zeitgeist it does at the moment? But ever since it's been introduced, it's always been a talking point, and it seems as though it's gotten more popular. Its audience just keeps rising and grows more dominant in everyday society. So I wonder sometimes if there will be a point where it just becomes something of the past, or something that is so everyday that we don't really talk about, like the internet or a library or something like that.
I wanted to ask you as well, as a creative, how do you find social media? How does it work for you?
As a creative, I feel social media I think it's positive and transactional, actually. I think it's a good place to use as a portfolio and to connect with other people, especially if you're genuine fans of their work and they are showing their work on their Instagram, for example. It's a lot easier to interact and will come across a lot more genuine. But it does depend on the platform. But for me, social media as a creative is definitely something that I enjoy. But I also, again, as a creative, see it more as a transactional tool to showcase the snippets of work that I'm capable of producing, almost as a creative showreel or sizzle reel, some teaser trailer, if you'd like, to the world that I can build for myself, other people, and my fellow creators in my community. So I think it's more of a transactional thing at the moment. And I think I'm careful to not be somewhat of a drone when it comes to scrolling or when it comes to interacting with different things. I'm doing my best to be as conscious in my curation of certain content as much as I can. I do utilize that not interested button quite a bit. But for me, I see it as more of a tool than it is a world that I need to give my life to.
I know exactly what you're saying when you talk about it being a showreel in a way, because it is that. And that's more of a recent thing, I would say, where Instagram and a lot of social media just switched to something much more professional. It is for businesses now, and it is for selling products and selling your brand, I guess. As a creative, it feels like social media, specifically TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, are platforms that will take rather than give. For me, when I am on those platforms, immediately I'm hit with something that's completely out of my interests in a different part of the world. And that's immediately putting me into another headspace of, oh, now I need to watch this to see what happens in this interaction, or to see what happens at the end of a video when the song cuts to this and da-da-da. I think we need to be aware of how we're consuming, but also what that is giving us from a creative standpoint. How many creative people could be doing amazing things if they weren't on social media consuming all the time? You could be the one creating content, or you could be the one consuming the content.
I think when it comes to content, I'm very also careful to not demonize it, because I think when it comes to art, artists have always supported other artists. Artists are always taking inspiration from other artists and the wider world. I do sympathize with the idea that if you're constantly consuming, what does that do for the art of creation? People often will encourage, take inspiration from as many things as possible. Yes, that is one part of a 3-step journey, if you could even reduce it to that. You also have to digest and synthesize and really have the time and energy to be able to discern and almost reinvent yourself, especially in the world of music. You see artists try and stay as relevant as possible, and it's like, wow, the amount of eras the likes of a Taylor Swift might have had over the last 15 years is incredible, where a lot of her contemporaries have changed. So again, what does that look like for someone who wants to consistently make art that appeals to a similar audience versus someone who isn't on social media as much to create as they are to consume? Social media use is going to be completely different to them. And I do agree with the professionalizing of social media now. It's less about nice car pics and it's more about lead magnets. It's more like, click the link in my bio. I don't know what I'm clicking, but no worries. That's one of those things that I've noticed quite a bit. So Instagram has become a lot more of a marketplace because these platforms can monetize commerce directly on their web apps. For example, TikTok Shop has taken the world by storm, whereas Amazon had that monopoly for a while. So the fact that people want to buy straight from their feeds and don't want to have to go to another place, I'm surprised TikTok Shop hasn't got its own individual app yet. It's probably coming in the near future. I'm just curious as to what it will look like next.
Yeah. I guess the root of what we're discussing today is really how we can navigate the digital sphere. Everyone has their own way of consuming, but I just hope that from this episode and from this conversation, people are more conscious and aware of how they consume and how they can shift a potentially unhealthy habit into a healthy one. My question to you, Aker, would be, how can we navigate the digital world and create a healthy future where the online world and the offline world can coexist?
I think you have to determine what is healthy for that person and what they would ideally want from either. If you want online to be something where you earn money, then I think using your offline time, for example, to develop a strategy around that and understanding what you like your offline world to feel like, and then looking at how you can leverage online to make that happen. And if it's just, I want to spend less time on social media, then you have to substitute that time with something else. It's about what brings you joy. Some people actually don't know what brings them joy. And then that's where you say, well, what content do you like watching? For example, if I like watching Kai Cenat because I like the games he plays, okay? And these games are often, let's say, for example, sports games. I might do, okay, would you like to try esports in real life then? Or would you like to just play sports games yourself? Or you see what I mean? So again, it's just kind of not so much demonizing yourself by having the habit. I think you can't beat yourself up for having something that you no longer want, but just acknowledging and recognizing that the change isn't that far away. I think it's definitely marrying the two and understanding what you'd like, but also treating yourself with compassion. If I were to try and advise somebody, it would definitely be to firstly acknowledge that you already have an offline life. Appreciate it. Don't beat yourself up or wanting to reduce your own digital media consumption, whether it be a detox or just be a thing a day, whether it's just 5 minutes less or whether you just want to do an aggregate time reduction plan. It really doesn't matter how you do it as long as it's sustainable and works for you. And for me, as long as you're having fun with that, with respect to you are, for example, going outside and meeting friends in real life as opposed to just sitting and waiting for things to happen off a group chat.
I love all of those points. And it is so important to emphasize that in person is always going to be more organic and more fruitful than online interactions. And I think we're moving, hopefully, towards a space post-COVID where we understand our habits more and we can choose what we're consuming, how we're consuming it, our own social media and media habits. But thank you for those points. I think they're all very useful and people can take a lot from those things.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Let's move on to the Platform Z Quickfire questions. Are you ready, Aker?
Yeah, I'm ready.
What was the most recent thing that inspired you?
Wow. Okay. I've just moved in. I moved in last Monday, and it's only this Friday that I managed to unpack everything. So I just woke up, did some work, and I was reading the script that I'd been sent from my partner, and I was 64 pages. I thought, okay, I can, this might be a bit much. And I just kept going. I felt like I just kept scrolling as if it were a TikTok feed. I was so entertained. And I just thought, wow, I'm really, 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 really impressed by something that brought confusion, pain, and some misunderstanding based on the themes alone. And you've turned it into something that I am gravitating towards and I'm excited by just reading, let alone visualizing on stage. So I was very, very inspired by the power of writing. So yeah, that was just really cool. I just was like, wow, I thought this is amazing in a world where we're just trying to be quick with things, to see the process as it unfolds and then to see the final product. I was like, wow, this is really cool. So that's what inspired me recently.
Yeah, that's a beautiful thing. That's wonderful. What is your goal for this month?
I need to buy an air fryer, but I want to start cooking for myself again. I think I definitely want to actually start. There's certain things I start ordering, like sweet and sour chicken. Like I can make that. I should be able to. Like I don't need to. As much as I love takeout, or when I say takeout, I love particular dishes. I'm a man of habit. I really, really want to start cooking again.
I love that. What's one bad habit that you need to get rid of?
Oh, I could think of a few. I think going to bed super late, my sleep management is terrible. I think because I'm naturally nocturnal. I think also having an all or nothing mindset as well when it comes to looking at problems. I'm very good at interweaving and connecting different things and solutions and looking at different ways you can solve a problem. But by that very extension, I can also see how a problem can interweave into many areas of one's life. I think in that respect, I can probably be a little bit better with compartmentalizing and sleep. And yeah, I think there's another bad habit. Not coming to mind. I think those two things. Sleep management needs to be better at, and then compartmentalizing.
What does joy look like to you?
Okay, so on the way to this interview, not even an interview, but a podcast, this conversation, I was watching a clip of, I don't know the actor's name, I should really, but I saw someone perform as Michael Jackson, Smooth Criminal, for the musical, MJ the Musical. And I'd already seen it. I think I might have seen it last summer. And I loved it. I was at the front. I was like, oh my gosh, MJ. So just seeing a clip of that just made me smile. Just seeing movement. So I think for me, joy looks like movement. Joy looks like music. Joy just looks like people enjoying one another's space. So yeah, I just started grinning and smiling when I was watching that on the train. I was like, wow, pretty cool.
Okay. Favorite MJ song now?
Oh, that's not fair because I have several. But I'm gonna say that's not fair at all. I'm gonna say "Remember the Time" because I'm an R&B fan. I love anything to do with love and oh, we had such a great meet cute. And yeah, I love that song. I love that song. But Unbreakable is also up there. I also like In the Closet. There's so many because everything's gonna be like an. But actually, it's between In the Closet, Remember the Time, Smooth Criminal, and You Rock My World. Those four. It's like. But he's got so many songs. Like there will be things that I haven't mentioned, but I'm like, I will play them religiously. So yeah. What's your favorite?
I'm going to say Lady in My Life. I think that's hard to top. But then She's Out of My Life, I love as well. But then it's like Billie Jean is still one of the greatest songs of all time. No doubt.
Brilliant.
Greatness.
Greatness embodied. Just like, wow, timeless.
When have you felt the most love?
I felt the most love when I was in Jamaica. When I was in Jamaica last year, summer, so I guess it's 2 summers ago, I just felt weirdly at home with the people that I'd met. The food I was getting, it was amazing. Like the whole place was nice. But I think just being in a warm or tropical environment, family as well, I just felt like, wow, I could keep doing this. This is fun. So yeah, warm place, warm food, just warmth all around, warm people. So yeah.
Big shout out to the Jamaicans. I love Jamaicans. What's the one thing you change in today's society?
I wished people weren't afraid to care. So if I could change one thing, I would definitely encourage or make mandatory passion. I think people have definitely, especially our generation, with the cartoons that we used to watch or the animes that used to come on or the video games we used to play, I think there was almost this lordship of the nonchalant, the person who doesn't care. And I think it happens quite a bit when things might not go away and we want to not feel pain anymore. But it's like, I want people to embrace care and empathy. And it's pretty cool when people have that glint, have that glowing spark in their eyes. Like, oh my gosh, you're talking about this thing you're passionate about. It's really cool. So I wish I could do that for everybody.
What a wonderful message. Wow. I was just thinking today about care and that concept, and I actually wrote a poem to perform at National Youth Theatre in April this year called We Must Care. And that was all about how this generation, Generation Z, must care for what's happening in the world. For me, everything is important and everyone is important. So if we care and we offer that care to people around us that we don't know, to the things around us that we're usually very easy to just disregard, even the way you put something in the bin or the way you're treating clothing, anything like that, I really believe that everything is important and must be cared for, and everyone must be cared for.
I agree. I wholeheartedly agree.
That's the end of another episode, guys. Thank you so much, Aker, for your time. Thank you for coming on.
Appreciate it, man. Love to come on again if possible. Appreciate you. Thank you for the space and hope everyone took something from the conversation. I know I did. So much appreciate once again.
Take some time now, please, to talk about where people can find you, what you've got going on, what you've got coming up.
Where you can find me, it's Aker Okoye, Akerokoye on Instagram. That's where you'll find a lot of what I'm doing. So at the moment, I'm doing a play. It's called We're Gathered Here Today. So that's going to be on November 21st and November 23rd at Queen Mary University. So that's going to be for 2 nights. And for the rest of the year, I'm building a lot of different things. Things are going to be coming out. So Aker Okoye on LinkedIn, Aker Okoye on Instagram. Pay attention to that Linktree. Pay attention to the feed because things will be announced really, really soon.
And just to say, if there was a one to watch award, this guy would get it every time. Since I met Aker in 2021, I want to say, I met this guy in the studio and immediately I was like, wow, there's an energy there, there's an excitement, there's a curiosity, there's a drive that I haven't seen in anyone ever before. I want to give you your flowers whilst you can still smell them. The future is so bright for this guy right here and he inspires me so much. So make sure you tap in.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you so much.
Keep doing what you're doing, and you work so hard. I'm excited. I can't wait to see what's next.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it. You work just as hard, if not harder, bro. So appreciate it, man.
Thank you guys for listening. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you could take something from this. Take care. Goodbye.
Shout out to Platform Z, man, every time.
Thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed. See you next time.